Alright guys, that's Kremp again today. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. OpTic once again revealing pictures of the first set to scrims that they're playing with Huke back into the starting roster again for the millionth time. Skies was back the other day. They showed that he was having a pretty good first couple of scrims with the team with Pred. Now Huke is back into the team. They're slamming their opposition and Huke has already got streaks on the board. Is this a sign of things to come? Should they have never got rid of Huke in the first place, even after what happened at Major 1? Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I'd greatly appreciate it. Plenty to get into. Dashy was talking about Kitchener as well. I thought his comments on this were kind of funny, really, to say, like, I don't even know if the Canadians that are living locally or in Toronto or whatever are even going to be pulling up to this event. Look, Dashy's going to be there, you would think, assuming that OpTic qualify for the World Championship, which surely they will do. Shotzzy gave his thoughts on that. We'll get to those in a couple of seconds here, because he basically says, you know, you guys talking about us not making champs are faded. What are you on about? But look, at the end of the day, we did see them go 0-21 map counts, which we weren't necessarily expecting, excluding, of course, that Falcon series, which, okay, sure, maybe it counts, but obviously people are going to have their opinions on that. I don't know what John's coming back to. He says it's time, and, you know, maybe John's making the return out of challenges, or back to challenges, or to do something else, who knows? Maybe Falcons gave him the call. I'm not really sure what the situation is over there, but clearly there are potential roster changes still to go down in this period. Now, Rafi also commented as well. I thought it was great what he's done for the scene lately, of course, supporting the scene with the Omit Challengers teams, and a lot of his players are now gone, right? They've been signed up to the Pro League, which is exactly what, you know, you would want to happen, really, in an ideal world. But as Rafi says, look, maybe in future he could partner, and, you know, Omit could partner with one of the pro teams, and therefore, you know, they would be, if they want to pick somebody up, basically they would have the first right of refusal, or whatever you want to say, to make that happen, and have like a reciprocal structure where if you want to, you know, drop a player, they can go down to the challengers team. That could be an interesting option as well. So I thought that was kind of nice to see. I did mention this earlier today, but worth giving a little bit more credit to in the sense that it was August 2017 that OpTic won the World Championship, and it was April the following year that the team blew it up entirely, right? Karma was benched at the time. They brought him back the next year. Formal left OpTic. He eventually returned to the Huntsman. But, yeah, the thing is with that Dynasty team, cracks were forming, and they had been forming for the previous couple of years, because they'd not won champs 2 years in a row. They were very, very close to blowing that OpTic team up after Atlanta, but they eventually made the run to the finals that event. They nearly lost to Fastballer and Panda Gaming, but Karma clutched the 1v1 famously on that Crusher Search and Destroy, and man, how that changed the course of COD history if Fastballer would have won that, because, you know, if Karma loses that 1v1, OpTic blow up the team, they never win the World Championship that year. Who knows how that trickles down. They eventually won that match, Game 5, Round 11. They made a run of the tournament. They proved to themselves they still had life left in the tag. They eventually win the World Championship that year, but as was inevitable, the cracks beneath the surface never disappeared, and when things went wrong in World War II at the start of the year, even though they made it to the finals of the Stage 1 playoffs, shortly after that, it was blow it up time. Formal had had enough, basically. He was out of there for Luminosity. Karma was benched. Then they formed the new dynasty with Methods and Octane. They wanted John, famously, but they couldn't get him, so they had to get Zinni instead. Now, fast forward 7 years, and it's basically the same thing that's happened again. Now, is Pred and Kenny gonna, you know, are they gonna come back in the same way that Formal and Karma eventually came back? I'm kind of doubtful, but maybe it's possible, right? I don't know. Intrigued to your perspective in the comments below. Of course, by the time that Formal and Karma came, you know, by the time that Formal came back to the team, Crimsix was gone, who of course was also on the team for OpTic at the time. So yeah, I don't know. It's interesting how history has repeated itself. I guess, yeah, we'll see you in June 2031 for the next OpTic World Championship, right? But yeah, crazy how that's happened. But I think it echoes a similar thing, that even with OpTic's World Championship run last year, and maybe you could argue that only the friction and the drama has happened this season, but I don't fully believe that's true. I think the top 12 run last year showed that there were some problems in that team, and you know, it does again raise the question, maybe this was never a massively justifiable point, but with HyDra and Scrap on the market last year, many, obviously hindsight's 2020, but many are looking back and saying, you know, if OpTic weren't fully convinced, even after winning champs, that their roster would be able to last the test of time, And clearly it hasn't. It lasted a few months before Pred was gone in, uncontrollable circumstances. Maybe they could have made a move then, which of course is not going to be possible again now with Thieves, presumably letting those guys be, tied up to some serious contracts. This is notable. Firing Range is coming in. Legendary Black Ops 1 map. They brought it back in BO2 as a map called Studio, you guys might remember. They brought it back in, certainly BO4 it was back. I think maybe even BO Cold War it was back. And it's basically been in every game since. Great map, to be fair. Not ever massively played for competitive, apart from originally in Black Ops 1. Is it better than some of the maps we currently have? I would say almost certainly yes. But with the movement in this game, with the speed of it, how would it play? Dunno. Intrigued to your thoughts. Would it be better than some? Probably yes. So it will be added when Season 3 arrives. I think this may arrive on like the 2nd of April, and the matches start on the 4th of April. So unfortunately, I think it is just going to be too late. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. What I did find very interesting, right, this is actually a little clip from the Cloud9 vlog here. So we did these little rapid fire questions here with loads of the players that we could get our hands on, and this is the one with Kremp. Now, one of the questions that I asked all of the players, and you guys will see the content soon with all of the players, was what do they think of Black Ops 6? And the general feeling, I would say, in the community on Black Ops 6 is that it's not very good. I don't think people massively like it. They certainly don't like the maps. That's the perception I get from the fans. If you ask the pros, because I did, what they think of Black Ops 6, they almost unanimously love it. And I actually thought this was a real surprise. It was surprising to me to some degree. I think this game's actually pretty damn good. And but I thought it was interesting that the pros were like really enthusiastic about BO6, apart from the maps. They don't like the maps, and it's the same with us. And I think that I guess many fans have the same opinion that BO6 would be far better with better maps. But like I asked Afro, and Afro said it was the best COD he'd ever played. Kremp says it's the best COD of this entire era of the CDL, which I think is, maybe not too much hard competition to beat, but, it's certainly notable, right? Because people look back fondly on Cold War now and on Vanguard and stuff like that. But many of the pros will tell you right now that this is an excellent game. So I just thought it was interesting because I'm not sure that many fans would expect that, especially given how negative the pros typically are about the current game. They really love this one in general with the pros that I spoke to over the event. And also, this is pretty funny. I asked him who the COD GOAT was and he said Crib, but they translate it as Kremp. I guess it sounds kind of similar, right? But yeah, I think he was calling Kremp the GOAT rather than himself. I would respect the confidence so if he actually did say Kremp. Now, let's talk OpTic. Shotzzy was talking about it, saying that those that are clowning them for not going to make the World Championship, you guys literally think we're terrible. What are you talking about? We're definitely going to make it. Which is, it is tough in a way, like how the mighty have fallen, because last year they go from winning it to this year. I mean, what are they, like attendees, right? Like they're going from champs winners to champs attendees. I don't know, maybe they can go further this year. Are they going to make it? I think they will make it. But, like, let's not pretend that OpTic just didn't go on a generational run of L's in the recent qualifiers. Like, they lost so many games in a row, so many maps in a row. Playing like that, they certainly weren't making champs. I guess there's a feeling that with this new team, they're going to be somewhat revitalized. Shotzzy and Huke love each other. They're going to, be a good SMG duo again, and they're going to be good enough. Is it going to be perfect? No. I think that OpTic probably have to definitely have an eye on the off-season to see which players they could potentially try and get if they need it. But, I think that OpTic will have to be probably key players in the off-season market, right? Maybe in the same way as to what happened back in when they obviously dropped Karma and Formal, benched Karma, dropped Formal, and Formal departed. In the next off-season, sure, it went from 4v4 to 5v5 for BO4, but they still had to make some substantial changes. They brought in Dashy that year, they brought in TJ. And, is there a Dashy out there for them to get? Not necessarily, unless you want to look at a guy like Sib. So, tweet to your thoughts in the comments below. Of course, they've still got Dashy to the present day. Now, he also mentions streaming scrims. I wanted to show a couple of clips here. There was a funny one as well, where he said that the reason why they didn't stream their practice was because when Pred came back, Pred wanted them to hide how good they were going to be. Obviously turned out that they were so bad that it backfired, and then they didn't stream because they were so bad. So they actually were going to stream their scrims, but they wanted to kind of hide it from the opposition. But now Pred's not there anymore. The rest of the team seemingly is comfortable enough streaming the practice, and that's exactly what they're going to do, apparently. So, we'll see. Hopefully that's the case anyway. So I wanted to show a couple of clips, then we'll have a look at Huke in the scrims.
You can tell us why you stopped? I mean, I didn't really want to sub, to be honest. I mean, to be fair, whenever AG did come back, it was a little bit tricky because I didn't mind. Like, at first, like, we kind of didn't, or I guess it was kind of AG, but like I was down to do it because I honestly didn't even mind. But we wanted it to be like unknown, like how good we're gonna be or whatever the fuck. And then, wow. No, but I'm not saying Pred didn't want to stream chances. Trust me. At first he didn't. But I'm not saying I could have easily done it. But the issue with that is that we're getting fucking slammed. Is there not fear that we might make champs? Jesus. For the people who are saying that we're not gonna make champs is fucking laughable. You guys literally think we're dog shit. Listen, bro. This whole stage, just be ready, man. And to be fair, you guys, I mean, for what happened last stage, I mean, you guys, that's why, listen, I'm not saying shit. All right, listen. I ain't saying anything, just keep watching.
So OpTic threw this up on their story last night. OpTic Gaming, here's Huke in the lobby. Here he is on Skyline. And, well, we can see some notable numbers on the left-hand side. Now, again, I mean, here we are again. I did the same video when Skies came back in, because OpTic did the same thing. Frying in scrims, right? OpTic are back at all this. But, look, it's certainly notable. As we can see, we've got Dashy, we've got Skies, presumably. I mean, it's obviously got to be Skies. Who else is it going to be? Shotzzy and Huke grinding out the scrims, and this is the screenshot in question. So if we zoom in, we'll see a couple of notable things. The first thing being the score on the left. They're up 235 to 95. Whoever they're playing, they're slamming them. Now, we've got the smiley face here over the top of the, the team that they're playing against. Although I guess if we really try to, this is going too far. If you really try and zoom in, there is like one letter of a name here, which is, but I can't make out what that letter is, so I'm not even going to really try. But it looks like it's red, right? So it's presumably for the other team that they're playing against. Like, at the end of the day, who really cares? Sometimes I seemingly care too much. But the other thing is, Huke's obviously frying, because on the right-hand side, he's got streaks. That's the other thing to see. So, Huke, it's no surprise. Like, Huke's great at this game. Dropping him for Pred in the first place when they brought him back was... I got it, but it was still questionable, I think, given the way that Huke was performing. And in terms of the CDL, Huke's still got one of the best KDs in the entire league. Shotzzy and Huke know each other well. They play well together. Maybe Kenny wasn't happy about it, but... it's probably going to work out for the best. So, tweet your thoughts in the comments below. But Huke's back in scrims. He's back getting streaks. They're slamming whoever team on the Skyline. And it's not like Skyline Hardpoint's been a great map for them, really. So, and maybe it was Ravens. I think that was a possibility that it was Ravens. There were rumors that this is who they were scrimming, and it's not like Ravens are a good Hardpoint team. So, maybe it's not that impressive. But it's certainly still notable. But tweet your thoughts in the comment section below. Just one final thing as well. There was so much trash talk at the major. It was, I mean, this was probably still my favourite one. The Neptune versus Beans drama was absolutely brilliant. And, Beans obviously clapped back at him. This is a great tweet, I thought, and it continued really through all of the series. But then Cellium, completely took over. And I thought this one, I'll just share this for you guys as you close out the video, because this is from Cloud9's vlog, I think, again. And, Cloud9 got bopped out of the tournament in the end by FaZe. And, man, Cellium was talking immense levels of trash. Typically the trash talk ends by the time you're shaking hands. But even for Attach, right, as great of a guy as he is, Cellium was still just going absolute demon mode. So enjoy your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care. And I'll see you next time.